Welcome, my chair's going mental. Why is that? I've got no idea. Hello, and welcome to the stream. I've had my COVID vaccine today. I'm not enjoying life. I feel like shit. We are, of course, not sponsored by any of the brands on the screen. How are you doing? It is today at the Euros brought to you by the Football Fan Show. I'm Derek Harrington. I don't know why I'm introducing myself like this. I'm an annoying radio presenter that decided to do a football Twitch channel, despite knowing relatively little about the game. I say relatively little. Shall I switch that back on, or shall I just sit in total darkness? Actually, that kind of works. There we know. I know the right light setting. I finally got it right. Anyway, how you doing today? Oh my freaking god! What a day! What a set of games! Fantastic! So good! So damn good! I cannot stress enough the absolute quality that we saw out there today. It was a fantastic game. Fantastic set of games for tonight's European Championship matches. I absolutely loved it. Every single moment of it. So, with that said, we're going to go through every game. We're going to tell you what happened at every game. And then we're also going to tell you exactly what happened. I realise why I can't have it on, because my shirt is now see-through for some reason. I've got no idea why. But apparently I'm disappearing into the pitch. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? Still better production quality than GB News. Today, the games, oh my god, the quality of the performances. Oh goodness, that Germany-Hungary game. Oh my god. What a game. What a game. And we're going to go into it in a bit, and we're going to give you all the games from the last 16 as well. Because, you know, let's get you those games, in fact. So we're going to go through every performance today. Right, let's get it started, shall we? Because, goodness, Spain finally turned up! I can't believe it! Spain have finally arrived! And to think I watched a 414's video that was like, well, at least we're not as shit as Spain, or as boring as Spain. Well, Spain certainly weren't boring today. And they eliminated Slovakia in the process. Fantastic. Of course, you can go vote in your game of the day. Apologies. I have had a coronavirus vaccine. You will hear me cough. I do have a bit of a cold because of it. Anyway. My. You can go vote in your game of the day. It's a popular one today. Stephanie Camillo tweets, I just like identifying the flags, lol. Well, you know, they're in the description of the tweet. What was your game of the day? Was it Sweden 3, Poland 2? Slovakia 0, Spain 5. Spain finally fucking arrived at the Euros. And they did it in style. Wait until the last minute, Spain. Come on, lads. What are you doing? I don't know what they're doing, but I'm not happy. They waited until the end to turn up. It's not the greatest thing in the world. Was it Portugal 2, France 2? As I think the entire Spanish squad should have watched the Portugal-France game and then their manager can say, this is how you take a penalty. Because Spain have missed their last 5 penalties. And, you've got to feel sorry for Hungary. My goodness, did they try. They tried. And they nearly did it. They nearly eliminated Germany from the Euros. It would have been back the first time Germany had been eliminated from the group stages of back-to-back tournaments. As I say, you can go vote on that poll right now at TFFS Live on Twitter. At the moment, we have a joint second place. In third place, it's Sweden 3, Poland 2, which I think is a bit harsh with 0% of the vote. Obviously, because we're doing it later, I suppose the fans of Poland and Sweden aren't actually that active in the hashtags for their games. In fact, we've not got a joint second place anymore because there's been a bit of movement. So now in third place, it's Germany 2, Hungary 2, which I think is the most dramatic of the games. Slovakia 0, Spain 5 with 20.7% of the vote. Germany 2, Hungary 2 with 17.2%. But your winners thus far, with 37 minutes left to go, it's Portugal 2, France 2 with 62.1% of the vote. Yes. So, with that said, what a day! I'm absolutely shattered from the. I couldn't decide what to watch in that last one because I initially watched Portugal France and thought, this would be a great game, and then Hungary were 1-0 up at half time, and I'm like, I better switch channel to BBC 2 from BBC 1. And then suddenly, Germany get an equaliser, and like no less than 20 seconds later, Hungary are down the other end and got 2-1 up. We're going to go through it. We're going to start with the 5 o'clocks, though, as they were the earlier kickoffs. And all of these games actually mattered today. It was weird because, France, I think, were the only team that had gone through from Group F. And Spain obviously were on 2 points. If they had got a point, then maybe they'd have squeezed through. But they absolutely spanked Slovakia, which means Slovakia are out of the competition because their goal difference is terrible now. Your goal difference would be terrible too if you got spanked 5-0. But yes, it is Slovakia who are out of that group. So. They're going to bring you all the permutations of who's playing who in the last 16. And I immediately don't want England to play the team that they're playing. It would just be ironic, wouldn't it, if Joachim Löw's side knocked us out. We'll get to that. Let's start with the earlier kickoffs. And Spain finally turned up in this tournament. They finally arrived at the Euros. Spain earned their first win from their last group game as they thrashed Slovakia 5-0, 5-0. Zilch, 0, nada. They've set up a last 16 tie with Croatia. Luis Enrique's side head into the knockout stages on the back of their best attacking display of the tournament. They still missed a bloody penalty, though. Proving to be far too good for a seriously below par Slovakia. I was expecting a bit, I don't know about you, but I was expecting a little bit more from Slovakia in this game, in this fixture. They just didn't turn up. The most important game of their tournament, and they don't even turn up. It's a typical thing. Oh, I should say you can call in if you've got any thoughts on the last 16 ties or any thoughts on the game. The number's going to come on the screen, and the Skype account is also going to come on the screen. With that said, let's get back into it. Emerick Laporte, Pablo Sarabia, Ferran Torres. I'm just going to skip the name. Ferran Torres all scored after a bizarre own goal from Newcastle's Martin Dubravka. Yes, I saw this. So the goalkeeper goes to handle it, and instead of punching it, which is what he probably should have done, he goes to grab it and then rolls the ball off the crossbar into his own net. It was weird. It was a weird goal to watch. I've never seen a goalkeeper score an own goal like that. And, you know, it's just stupid. What was he thinking? The shot, it's coming down, so he gets his hand up, tries to roll it into his arms. Instead, he rolls it against a crossbar, and once the crossbar's gone, there's no wall to roll it against. You're just going to push the ball into the back of the net, and that's exactly what he did. It was bloody weird. Weird to watch. So, it was an absolute nightmare for Dubravka. The Slovakian keeper, who had earlier saved a penalty from Alvaro Morata. Spain have missed their last 5 penalties. I quite fancy Spain in a penalty shootout. If you're a team playing Spain in a penalty shootout, you might just be thinking, you know what, lads, I fancy us to win this one. Spain are shite at penalties. They've missed their last 5 in open play. That should be said. They've missed their last 5 penalties in open play. That doesn't include penalty shootouts. So, Spain they're just terrible. Just watch the Spanish players need to be watching the Portugal-France game, because that is how you take penalties, and that's what they need to learn. They need to learn to take penalties, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because they've just not been very good at penalties. But they won 5-0, which was a massive win for Spain and sets them up with a meeting against Croatia in Copenhagen on Monday at 5. So it's a good opportunity for Spain to finally come alive in this tournament and deliver upon, I say, their potential. This isn't the greatest Spanish squad I've ever seen. Nobody is saying this Spain team is going to win this tournament. They should beat Croatia. Let's face it, Croatia, they may have played well against Scotland, but nah. So, Spain, by the way, in this game, let's give you some of the stats from this game. Spain had 66% possession. 19 shots, 9 of them on target, so their firing range is still crap, I see. Slovakia had 34% possession, 3 shots, none of which were on target. And they committed 14 fouls, had 0 corners to Spain's 7. It was an absolute trouncing. The other game, which was Sweden against Poland, I didn't watch this one, I watched the Spain game. And you know what, once Spain went 2-0 up, I should have just watched the other game. But I stuck with the Spanish game. And Sweden substitute Victor Claesson scored a 93rd minute winner in this one, as a valiant Poland fought back in vain, and they have been eliminated from Euro 2020. It took place in St. Petersburg. Sweden led 2-0 on the hour mark, thanks to 2 goals from Emil Forsberg. But Robert Lewandowski... I tried to argue that Poland aren't a one-man team, but they're a one-man team, aren't they? Robert Lewandowski's double put Poland within a goal of the win they needed to advance, only for Klaassen to end their hopes. It's like, okay, guys, you've scored 2. Robert Lewandowski has saved Poland. Oh, wait. No, he hasn't. Sweden have scored a 3rd. Sweden now prepare for a last 16 tie against... Well, we'll get to it because it says Finland or Ukraine, but obviously the permutations weren't known, so we will know now. We do know now the permutations of who they will play, so we will find out in good stead. Tonight's games from Group F has delivered. It was the group of death, and yet Hungary have proved anything bar whipping boys for the big teams. And that one was... Well, both games were fantastic. I mean, you could take your pick which one you want to talk about first. We're going to talk about Portugal and France first before we get into the dramatics of Hungary and Germany. Cristiano Ronaldo has equalled the all-time international goal-scoring record as defending champions. Portugal drew with France to qualify for the last 16. They finished third and are one of the best third-placed teams. Ronaldo scored his 108th and 109th goals, both from the penalty spot, to equal Iranians Ali Daei's record with Iran between 1993 and 2006. They came either side of half-time, but were not enough to give Portugal victory. As striker Karim Benzema broke a 6-year goal drought with France because he hasn't been playing. That's why. He hasn't played for a long time. There's no point in saying that he hasn't played for them. But he did score from the penalty spot for Les Bleus, and they have topped the group on a frantic, quite frankly, frantic night because obviously the permutations of this group, whoever finished second, face England, and it was like, we're gonna face Portugal. No, we're gonna face Hungary. No, we're gonna face Germany. No, we're gonna face Portugal again. No, we're facing Hungary again. No, we're facing Germany again, and that is how it ended. Let's get into the last 16 then. So your last 16 games start on Saturday. We already knew these ones. Wales take on Denmark in Amsterdam. Italy take on Austria at 8 o'clock on Saturday. So 2 games on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we've got the Netherlands versus the Czech Republic at 5 o'clock. England fans will know the Czech Republic because they finished... Where did they finish? Third? They finished third, didn't they? Yeah, because Croatia finished second. So the Netherlands face third, one of the 4 best third-place teams in the Czech Republic. Belgium face Portugal. That's an interesting game. That's a big game. Croatia, runners-up in England's group, face Spain. I mean, if you're Spain, you quite fancy that one. France face Switzerland, one of the best third-placed teams. England faced... Oh, for fuck's sake, England faced Germany. Why? Why do the footballing gods hate us so? I don't want to play frickin' Germany. Not him and his smelly fingers. Minty fresh balls, yeah. England face Germany at 5 o'clock on the Tuesday. Sorry, on the... Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. The Tuesday. England versus Germany on the Tuesday at 5. Oh, God, I'm not looking... Oh, I work! I'm working then. Oh, balls. Fuck it, my radio show's pre-recorded on Tuesday, the 29th of June. With a second hour of it. It is anyway, because I'm not doing a freaking live one whilst England are on. Sweden and Ukraine meet in the final last 16 game. Sweden versus Ukraine. Which means the 4 third place teams, which are Switzerland. The best third place teams are the Czech Republic topping the group. They're the best third place team. Then Switzerland second, Portugal are third, Ukraine fourth, with Finland and Slovakia eliminated. I feel sorry for Finland. But Andrei Shevchenko's side squeezed through. For Portugal, they finished third 5 years ago. And went on to win the damn thing, although they drew all 3 of their games. This time they've actually won a game, lost one and drawn one. So take your pick on who you think is going to win. But those are the last 16 games. Oh, God. If Germany play as bad as they did in... the game that they played against France, then I'm excited. Then again, England, I'd like to think, fingers freaking crossed, aren't going to be a team that are going to play like Hungary and go 1-0 up and go, you know what, lads, let's defend this, because that will be our death nail. If England go 1-0 up and go, you know what, lads, I think this is going to be enough against Germany. we're going to get eliminated. Gareth Southgate, do not do that. Do not play your typical, oh, we're 1-0 up, we'll just pass the ball around. Don't do it. Don't play boring football against the Germans. Just try and absolutely trounce them. Because I swear to God, it's the only way you're going to win. Sorry, I swear to a deity that I don't believe in. I swear that's the only way you're actually going to get through this group. Because... why Germany? Why couldn't it have been Hungary? I just want Hungary. That's all I want. 22 minutes left of our poll. Oh, why couldn't it have been Hungary? I'm so... Oh, God, we're going to get eliminated by the Germans. Well, I did say that England would probably be at the last 16. There's a bit of manoeuvring in our poll. We're asking for your game of the day, of course, over on our Twitter account at TFFS Live. And in last place, they have got some votes. It's Sweden 3, Poland 2 with 3.3% of the vote. In second place, it's Germany 2, Hungary 2 with 16.7% of the vote. Slovakia 0, Spain 5 gets 20% of the vote. And Portugal 2, France 2 gets 60% of the vote. Thus far, 22 minutes left if you want to go vote on that poll. All I've got to say to that is, for the drama, I don't think there was more of a dramatic game tonight than that German-Hungary game, and I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for the Hungarians. I really do. Yeah. I just, I wanted them to, I wanted, let's be honest, I'm just going to be completely honest with my motives. I just wanted a piss-easy game for England, because let's face it, they ain't beating Germany. And this is probably one of the worst German teams I've ever seen. But I'm not sure if this England team is up to the challenge. That's depressing. I'm depressed now. Thoroughly depressed. Let's bring you some news from the Euros, including this one. And obviously, I said I didn't watch the Germany game at the start because I watched Portugal and France. UEFA, you'll know, has come under fire recently. The mayor of Munich wanted to make the Allianz Arena. Obviously, they can light up the outside of the arena, and it used to be kind of a light blue colour for my team, 1860, when the Allianz Arena was the home stadium of 1860. That was a bit ill thought out by the club, wasn't it? Because I'm not saying we're not as good a club, we're just not as big a club as Bayern Munich. But they wanted to light that up in rainbow colours for Pride, but also that the I don't know anything about Hungarian politics, but allegedly they've passed a lot of homophobic laws in Hungary. With that said, UEFA rejected the mayor of Munich's plea and said it's seen as a political gesture and therefore they will not do it, and then subsequently changed their logo, UEFA's logo, to a rainbow colour to say that they support the LGBTQ plus community, when in fact they don't. They just want your money, which is true of any corporation that does it, because they don't care. And UEFA is a business at the end of the day. But Munich's Allianz Arena was awash with rainbow-coloured flags tonight, as German fans showed their support for the LGBTQ plus community before their game against Hungary. A fan ran onto the pitch with the rainbow flag as well. So apparently it isn't political, according to UEFA, but they rejected it on political grounds. So is it political or not? That's not for me to say. I'm not educated enough to say it. I'm just a working class lad. I care, but I'm not knowledgeable. I'm not knowledgeable enough. Supporters wore rainbow flags, wigs and face masks after UEFA denied Munich's mayor request to light up the Allianz in rainbow colours. Dieter Ritter. Let's go Dieter Ritter. Ritter he's the mayor of Munich, and he made the request of protesting over new laws in Hungary that bans the sharing of any content seen as promoting homosexuality and gender change to under 18s. And UEFA earlier this week dropped its investigation into German captain Manuel Neuer wearing a rainbow coloured captain's armband during his side's friendly game with Latvia on the 7th of June, and Group F matches against France and Portugal. The Bayern Munich goalkeeper wore the rainbow armband once again as his side took to the pitch to face Hungary today as well, and a German flag invaded the pitch during the Hungarian national anthem and hoisted a rainbow flag to the air in front of Hungary's players before being tackled by the stewards. Whether it's right or wrong, that's for you to have that debate, not for me. This is not a political channel. We just want to talk about football. Saying that, what happened to that Greenpeace protest? That's what I want to know. So we now know the last 16 lineup for Euro 2020, and I'm not excited by it. It's Germany versus England. How can you get excited for that? It's my prediction: England get knocked out on penalties, because it always happens. It always happens as well. So I'm trying to find out where each game is being is taking place. So bear with me on that one. So we've got those. So let's go through all the groups. Actually, before we move on, let's go through all the groups thus far. So let's start with Group A, which of course was Wales's group. So Italy finished top of that group with 9 points. Then Wales on 4 points in second place. Switzerland get through as one of the four best third place teams on 4 points, -1 on goal difference to Wales's +1. Sorry, I've been drinking Coca-Cola. It makes you burp. I know it's disgusting, but if Coca-Cola want to sponsor me, have it. Oh wait, that's Subway. No one's put vodka in it today. I'm delighted to see. Turkey finished bottom of the group, so they're out. Belgium in Group B. Belgium topped the group with 9 points. Then it was Denmark in second with 3 points. Finland in third with 3 points. And then it's Russia in fourth, also with 3 points. But it's goal difference separating those two, with Denmark getting +1 on goal difference. Finland with -2 and Russia with -5. Finland, by the way, are out. They are not one of the best third place teams. I think they finished 5th in the table of the 6 teams. So they just miss out, with Ukraine getting that spot instead. Because Ukraine have -1 on goal difference. Group C, the Netherlands finished top with 9 points. And then Austria in second place on 6 points. Then Ukraine in third, getting through as one of the top 4 third place teams with 3 points, -1 on goal difference. And North Macedonia having lost all 3 games. But at least, they're not the worst team in the tournament. -6 on goal difference. Turkey have -7. So Turkey get the wooden spoon from this tournament for being the worst team. Don't at me, Turkish football fans. Group D. England topped the group with 7 points, with a win, draw, and a win. Croatia finishing second, having won only 1 game, the absolute spanking of Scotland. Czech Republic finishing third on 4 points, having lost to England in their final game, but winning 2-0 against Scotland and then drawing against Croatia. And then Scotland finishing bottom of the group on a point. And Graham Souness has really ripped into the Scotland squad, and I'm going to get on to what Graham Souness has said about the Scottish team, because he's come in for a bit of flack for it. In Group E, Sweden topped the group with 7 points. Then it's Spain on 5 points. Slovakia on 3 points. They're heading home, and Poland on a point. And then it's Group F, France on 5 points, Germany on 4 points, Portugal on 4 points in third, then Hungary going home on 2 points. Feel sorry for the Hungarians. Poll closing in about 13 minutes if you want to make your vote count on our game of the day. It's still Portugal 2, France 2 with 60% of the vote. Graham Souness then, the legendary midfielder of Scotland, Liverpool, reckons Steve Clarke got it wrong against Croatia and says the Scotland boss needs to bring his tactics into the 21st century. I would like to remind... I'll read the article before I get to it. Clarke's Scotland lacked ideas for long spells or in the do-or-die match for the Group D clash, and were eventually undone by Luka Modric masterclass. Callum McGregor's hair-raising equaliser aside, Clarke's team were second best for long spells and saw just 35% possession from start to finish. Souness, speaking to ITV4's post-match coverage, reckons Clarke was stuck in his ways for too much of the game. And this is what he actually said. Let's directly quote Graham Souness. He said, "We had to have more of the ball," he said. "We played second fiddle for a long time and it was more of the same, but you can't wait until the last 10 minutes to make changes. By then, it's too late. When we scored, it could have been the turning point, and that was the time to change it. I'd like to have seen I'd like to have changed things in the second half. The plan in the first half clearly wasn't working. They had 68% possession. I'd have taken a striker off and tried to get a bit more possession in midfield and build from there. We went too long at times. We tried to hit Lyndon Dykes too often. It was tactics from the past. It made us look like a team from the past. I might be criticised for saying that, but it's true. The manager has a group of players, and it's up to the manager to come up with the ideas and a way of playing which he thinks will get the best out of that group of players. But I would have liked him to change certain things in the second half. Such as," and he goes on to actually list the ideas that Graham Souness has. "I would have had Nathan Patterson on earlier, as Stephen O'Donnell had problems down his flank all night. The direction of his finish was superb, but it was an avoidable goal. So I'm disappointed, but it's not totally unexpected because this Croatia team are a really good side when they get on the front foot." Souness was not finished there. He was keen to come back on the subject later on in the show. And he'd had the chance to gather his thoughts by this point and was even more critical. Okay, what did he say now? He said, "Okay, you start with the same team for the second half, but you're struggling, you change it. It was more of the same, and he didn't change things until 70 minutes. I don't want to be down on my nation, but I'm disappointed after the England game." I get the feeling, right, that the 0-0 draw with England gave the Scots an inflated... You know how England always have an inflated opinion of themselves when... And it is like, sorry England fans, we do have an inflated opinion of our national team. Look at the semi-final of the World Cup in 2018 when we all thought we were going to win it and we really didn't play anyone of significance. And then when we did, we lost. Ruined my summer, that semi-final. But I just get the feeling that Scotland, you've done an England. You've created, you've bought into the hype. After the 0-0 draw, you've bought into your own hype. And let's face it, you're not very good. Neither is that shit team that you got the point against. Quite frankly, England should never have drawn against Scotland. And that is why they'll be knocked out the last 16 of the competition, because Gareth Southgate is tactically rubbish. What's that? Relegated with Middlesbrough. Never won anything with the under-21s. So Graham Souness ends his thoughts by saying it was football from another age. You need to play football. Our defence was launching it, bypassing the midfield. We have to play more football if we're going to progress. We are like a team from another era. Sorry if that hurts. We have to up our game. We have a country mile to catch up on. So what I would say to that, what I would say to that is that, yes, Graham Souness is right. I, as a football fan, don't like to watch that style of football. But it's what brought you to the table. If you tried to play the way you're suggesting, you'd get absolutely played off the park because Scotland do not have the players to do it. Apart from Billy Gilmore, who else have you really got? Yeah. I think Steve Clarke has done a miracle to get you into the tournament, to be honest. So I think the majority of Scotland fans are sensible, and they've come to criticise Graham Souness. To be honest, this isn't an insult to the Scotland fans because they've been great. They've been absolutely great, and to be honest, I do like the Twitter interactions or the chat interactions we've had here, where it's like, oh, Scotland won 0-0 against England, and I'm like, yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. So, if you're gonna deny the fact that you kind of played that way to bring you to the dance, and you won a penalty shootout. I said after the Czech Republic game, it felt like Scotland had won the village raffle fate. The village fate raffle was won by Scotland, and just so happens that the raffle prize was a place in Euro 2020. So Scotland don't belong at major tournaments. Sorry, but you're not as good as Wales. You're not as good as England. You're barely as good as England. Although you still get a point. Yeah, Scotland don't belong at these tournaments yet. You need there are a few things you need to change. But if Steve Clarke brought you to the dance playing that way, then of course I think he has every right to play the way he wants. If it brings you to the dance, then I'm sorry, Graham Souness, you're wrong. You are very much mistaken. Steve Clarke is entitled to play the way he wants, and if he it qualified you for the first major tournament since 1998. If you try and play the way that you're suggesting, you're probably going to get played off the park, and you're probably going to have to wait another, what was it? How long was it? 23 years for another major tournament qualification. And quite frankly, the Scotland fans were banter. If I'm being completely honest, the Scotland fans brought a lot of banter to this tournament, and I loved that. I love seeing that. Apart from the if you effing hate the English, clap your hands. That is a bit of a no-no for me. But that is straight out the SNP manual. But I do have to say, I did enjoy some of the banter with the Scotland fans this tournament. Sad to see you go, but England and Wales, the only home nations through. I suppose you can come to some sort of agreement with Northern Ireland because they were in it last time in 2016. So were the Republic of Ireland. So maybe you just swap places every tournament, every Euros. Maybe that's why. But I don't agree with Graham Souness. Steve Clarke brought you to the dance. He's been your best manager for ages, and he's done a good job with what he's got. And if Scotland want to qualify for more major tournaments, stick with Steve Clarke and his tactics. I don't care if they're boring. And we've got Gareth Southgate as our manager. He's dull, passionless, it seems like, and just a completely boring character. Doesn't have that fire that I like to see. He won't shout at players. I hate it. But hopefully this tournament has kind of rekindled Scotland fans' love of their national football team, because obviously it has been a long time since Scotland were last in a major tournament, and I'd love to see Scotland back in a major tournament. And it probably won't be Qatar in 2022, but maybe Euro 2024 in Germany, Maybe the next Euros in Germany, Scotland can be a part of that if they can qualify. You know, you've got some younger players coming through that have got a lot of quality. And maybe the golden generation of Scottish players is just around the corner. Don't know what Scotland have actually done to achieve that. I mean, Wales put in an entire process to do it, and it's freaking weird because Gareth Bale, the Welsh captain, went to the same school that the Welsh Rugby Union captain went to, and the current Welsh Rugby League captain also went to. So that school produces a lot of sporting stars. I can't remember the name of it, but you get what I mean. The poll is got 4 minutes. It's got 4 minutes to go. So if you want to vote for that, go vote on it now. We've gone through the last 16 ties. We've told you what's going on. Dubravka's nightmare, which was just bizarre to watch. And I wonder what channel. In fact, what channels are the what channels are the games on? That's the question. Don't know what channel the the last 16 game is on. Hang on, here we go. Doesn't actually say what channel it's on, so that's annoying. I assume England and Germany. Jesus, no, will be playing on ITV. Right, this is a perfect opportunity to tell you thank you very much for watching. Give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/The Football Fan Show. We're now done and dusted until Saturday at 12:30. 12:30? No, sorry, 12. Where we've got the regular Football Fan Show, and we'll be talking about such thing as will Harry Kane be leaving Tottenham for Manchester City? Also, Jadon Sancho, will he be leaving Borussia Dortmund for Manchester United? And another manager has turned down the Tottenham Hotspur job. When will Tottenham put that job on Indeed? Then I can apply for it and then turn them down. That's what I really want to do. I just want to see the Tottenham job go on Indeed. That's at 12 o'clock on Saturday. If you've got the time to join us, it would be lovely to have your company, of course. We're back on Saturday with Today at the Euros at 10 o'clock on Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday for the last 16 games as well, where we'll tell you what happened, analyse the performances, and we'll look ahead to the following days' fixtures. Don't forget, we are not sponsored by any of the brands that are currently on the screen, but if they would like to, hit us up, thefootballfanshow@gmail.com. Of course, you can go follow us on Instagram. It's at The Football Fan Show on Instagram, where you can join our campaign to get Original Source to sponsor Joachim Low, because if he's going to scratch and sniff, at least he can have minty fresh balls to go alongside them. Oh, goodness. This goes out on YouTube as soon as we're done broadcasting on Twitch as well, so go check us out there, The Football Fan Show on YouTube, and make sure you go like us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter for more Euro 2020 polls. It's at TFFS Live if you would like to follow us there. The final results are in for your game of the day. And the game of the day, so starting in last place, I mean, it's Sweden 3, Poland 2, but 3.2% of you voting for that. 3.2% voting for Sweden-Poland. Sweden 3, Poland 2. So that finishes last. With 16.1% of the vote, it's Germany 2, Hungary 2, which I thought was probably as dramatic as the Sweden-Poland game. 19.4% of you have gone Slovakia 0, Spain 5, with Spain finally coming alive and turning up to this tournament for the first time in the final group stage. But 61.3% of you have gone for Portugal 2, France 2, which is your game of the day as you vote for it. Who am I to disagree, as the song goes? Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree, as the song goes? England are going to face Germany at Wembley in the last 16. We know this to be true. Anyone fancy a penalty shootout? Good night.